Alright guys, welcome back to another episode of Bad Gas Productions. I'm here all by myself today because unfortunately I've got COVID. So I've got a lot of things I gotta do, and the guys can't come and help because I don't want to get them infected. So follow along and I'll tell you a story. So the first part of our story is I need to take my Mustang for a walk. I could start it, but it's pretty early in the morning and I don't really want to piss my neighbors off. Not on a Sunday anyways, right? So you can see the Mustang parks under the TransAM. So that's where our story starts. You see, when we put the dipstick in the TransAM's automatic transmission, forgot about a little O-ring that makes it seal. And honest mistake, there were two little O-rings on the dipstick itself, and we thought that was enough, but evidently you need a $4 rubber seal, just like the original ones, just like any original dipstick would have used. So once we got the transmission all topped up with fluid, things were fine for a little bit until we started driving the car. Once we started driving the car, the fluid would leak out of the torque converter back down into the case. And when it sat down in the pan, the level would rise and it leaks out on the Mustang. Let me show you. So I don't know if you can really see that, but there's transmission fluid all over the window and all over the paint. It runs down the fender, drips off and drips on the floor. So have a look in here. You can see the spots. Oh, thanks, bird. See the spots on the ground. I've been kind of cleaning them up, but we took the time to clean all this the other night, and we actually fixed the problem up in here. I'm gonna try to show you that. I don't know if you'll be able to see too well under here. All right, well, there's a lot of stuff going on in here, and I'm not really sure if you'll be able to see, but right behind the modulator here, you can see the silver line coming down. That's our dipstick. And so it's right there. It's also coincidentally the fill tube on an automatic. So there's a rubber seal here where it goes into the case, and we didn't know. So we've replaced that. So what we did is we drained a good amount of the fluid out, cleaned all this, and we put a little bit of RTV on $4 seal that we got from CarQuest. Popped it in, popped the dipstick in, let it dry for a couple days, and then topped it back up. And from what I can see, this is a nice dry pan, so I think our problem is fixed. Right, so the first thing I want to do today is actually clean the Mustang. I want to get all that old automatic transmission fluid off of it, and now that we have the problem fixed, honestly, if the car is clean and it's parked under there, I kind of want to see if it drips again on it. So that'll be my litmus test. You can also see here, try to get that. You can see the 3 jugs of automatic transmission fluid there. I need to put those back in the car. So that's the next thing I'm going to do today. And then we're actually going to work on the Mini a little bit today. So the biggest job of the day today is to fix the suspension in the Mini, and I'll explain when we get there. All right, well, today's goal is not to make this the cleanest Mustang on YouTube. It's really just to get it kind of clean. I'm probably going to clean all these cars in a few days anyways, and I'll do it properly. But so we just gave this a quick one. I'm going to wipe it down and dry it off, of course, just so there's no water spots. I have 2 more wheels to clean, and then I'm pretty much done with this one. All right, well, just using a little bit of wheel acid and some quick hand washing. Problem with having a bunch of cars in a shop where you work is you end up getting dust and stuff from welding and stuff from everything on your cars. So keeping things clean is a chore, that's for sure. Ah, that rhymed. I really like these Riddler wheels that we put on this Mustang. They're pretty. They're just knockoffs, but they're nice. Still just the same, especially for the price. I'm sure you guys were hoping for a bikini-clad woman to be doing this washing, but sorry, COVID. Can't bring anybody over. So y'all stuck with me. I'm a pretty good looking guy though. Don't ask me to put a bikini on. It ain't happening. All right, we'll give that a quick dry and we're done. So like I said, this was meant to be a pretty quick wash, but I never like leaving water on my cars because you get water spots and it takes forever to get that off. So take the extra time to do it now. It's a lot easier. So for those of you that are new to the channel, I don't know if you've ever seen this car, or at least not much of it anyways. This is my 1966 Ford Mustang. Well, it's ours, but this is a prime example of an old car that's new inside, really. Pretty much everything on this car is new. This thing's sporting a 2004. Yeah, it is. It's a 2004 Ford 5-liter Mustang motor. Made it to Tremec T5. It's got the original rear end in it still. So that'd be a Ford 8-inch. But we went to QuickTime and put in a nice aftermarket limited slip. So both wheels in the back spin. It's got an aftermarket drive shaft. Brand new interior by TMI. I'll show you those in a sec. Nice leather seats. The engine's been warmed over a bit. So it was bored out to, I guess, be a 30, probably like a 306. I can just stock, but the heads are trick flow. It's got a pretty decent size stage 3 camshaft in it. So she's got lots of lump. There's lots of other go fast parts on it. Again, I set this thing up to be kind of more like a modern car. So it has power steering and power brakes, these things lacked. Has rack and pinion steering, which I wouldn't do again, by the way, if I had to do one of these over again, but ask me in the comments below if you want to know why. But yeah, other than that, brand new wiring. It was a rotisserie job, so the car was flipped up on its lid and painted top to bottom. Yeah, Willwood brakes. Pretty much got all the treatment. This car is a pleasure to drive. Having driven lots of stock classic Mustangs, there's no comparison. Some people like things original, and yeah, for some cars I totally agree. This wasn't the car. It wasn't the car from the very beginning, and sometimes you got to make that choice, right? Luckily for me, I haven't had to make that choice much because most of what I have isn't stock. But I can tell you that when I first got this Mustang and drove it, I probably looked like I was a drunk, because the car wandered all over the road. And so putting the power steering in made a massive difference. This thing's also lowered, so it has what's called the Shelby drop. It also has a total control package by Hikus, so the entire suspension is done. I mean, there isn't anything stock to this at all, and it drives pretty much like a new car. I love it. I also know that when I build them like this, that anybody else could drive it. The original ones with their manual brakes, you had to stand on the brakes to get it to stop. Like, I mean, stand on it. I sold a classic Mustang to a younger girl one time, and she took it for a test drive, and the first thing she said when she came back is, "These brakes are worn out." And I said, no, they are brand new. So it wasn't that they were worn out, it's that she wasn't used to driving a car with manual brakes, especially a semi-heavy car, although these aren't all that heavy. But anyways, that's how I like it. On the inside, we have a full cluster of gauges. They're brand hammer new by Dakota Digital. They're actually not a digital gauge per se, but they're pretty sweet. I'll show those to you in a sec. Brand new steering wheel, center console with an armrest, cup holders. Ooh, cup holders. Full exhaust done. Brand new carpet, all brand new wiring. All brand new glass, and all the chrome is brand new. Got a nice stereo in her. There really isn't much left that I could have done, that I could have not done, I guess, on this car. It's also got a full 3 boxes of sound deadener put in it. I think there's some video of that somewhere way back in the history of our channel. You might find some of that there. My son, who's now off to his first year of post-secondary school, actually helped me when he was little, just putting the sound deadener in this. Probably the first time I ever filmed him, he and I doing something like that. God, now he's bigger than me. Well, taller anyways. By the way, I'm sporting a orange Bad Gas Productions hoodie today. It's kind of fall here, so you can see the sun's out and it's going to get warm today. But for the early morning part of the day, this hoodie's pretty sweet. I've got a bunch of these. If you're interested, hit us up. You can get us at badgaseditor@gmail.com. So as I mentioned, that's a 1994 Ford Mustang motor. She's sporting a 600 CFM carburetor. Actually, it's a 670. Set of trick flow headers. Nice warmed over cam. It's got a beautiful serpentine setup on it. You can see we're set up with some adjustable strut tower braces. So the normal Mustang would have had one that went across here and then back, and none of it was adjustable. This is all adjustable, which is actually quite helpful in these cars. You can see the power brake unit in there. It's a pretty good squeeze to get that in there. I'll start this thing up for you in a minute. She's pretty lumpy and grumpy. Gotta like it. For the interior, which is ultra not clean, we've got seats by TMI, so they were a custom ordered seat. Someday I'd like to do the door cards and the dash to match. We got the front and back seats. Got a nice armrest console with 2 cup holders, brand new carpet, full gauge restoration, some brand new gauges over there. So we have an aftermarket steering column, nice chrome one with a aluminum Ford steering wheel. In the back here, you can see the seats in the back match, and nice new speaker console. I'll cut to a little bit of clip here of Corey from the Bad Gas team fixing that up for me. It was actually terrible for the last couple of years. The one I put in was falling apart. So Corey took it upon himself to redo that. I don't know if I can show you through the windows here, but he did a phenomenal job. Big thumbs up, Corey. Thanks so much for doing that for me and for the Mustang. All right, so behind me is the classic Mini with a K-swap, and she's really dirty. That's because for the last probably month or so, it's been parked under the tree over there, and I've been kind of neglecting it. Sad, right? Well, that's going to change today. So there's a reason I've been neglecting it, and it's because when I drive it, it kind of wants to kill me. I can drive it normally, but if I step on it, it wants to go right or left, depending on which way the wheels turn or what the gradient of the pavement is. So it turns out that basically I have a bump steer issue. When I get on the power, the suspension lifts a little bit and it duck bills the wheels in, which makes the car go all over the damn place. So I have a fix for that. And really, I just thought before I fixed it, I'd kind of clean the car since she's so dirty. Take a look around. I mean, parking anything under a tree is a bad idea. It's even worse when I get over here. I'm a terrible owner. Anyways, let's get this thing washed up and we'll get to work. I didn't realize this car was that dirty. Wayne, if you're watching this, I'm really sorry. I'm sorry I let it get that dirty, bud. If you're new to the channel, Wayne's the guy that painted this. Wayne's Hot Rods and Customs. And I'm pretty sure he kicked me in the ass if he saw it like this. Anyways, let's see what a little hand wash does. I have a feeling if I wanted to get really clean, I'm in for more than just a hand wash, but we'll start there anyways. Alright, so this is a classic Mini. And most people, unless they really know Minis, they think of these as being mid-70s, late 70s, very early 80s car. And that's true. But a company in Japan actually bought the rights and the stampings and the dies to remake these. Well, I could be wrong with the stampings, but if I am and you happen to know, drop that in the comments below. But either way, they bought the rights to remake these, so they remade them in the early 90s in Japan. And I think they did send them to North America, because this one actually was left-hand drive when I got it. I don't think anybody switched it. So anyway, so this is a 1994 Rover, which would have had a Metro engine in it, I think. So it would have been fuel injected. For all intents and purposes, it's exactly the same as any classic Mini. There's subtle differences, but none that are apparent in this one, because all the Mini stuff in this car is gone. This is sporting a Honda motor with super fast Mini's front and rear suspension unit, coilovers, Wilwood brakes all the way around. There isn't much Mini left. Honestly, you almost pretty much take a Sawzall and cut all the Mini out the front and the back, and you're left with the shell, and then start over with all the subframes and things that they provide in the kit to put these together. Many different ways to do these. You can do them as a fully rear-wheel drive. You can do them as all-wheel drive. You can do the motor in the front, motor in the rear. This one happens to have the motor in the front, and it's a front-wheel drive. Honestly, if I had to do it again, I wouldn't do it that way, but I bought this as an unfinished project and finished it up. So it kind of is what it is. But yeah, if I ever built another one, I think I would do the motor in the rear, rear-wheel drive, or maybe an all-wheel drive configuration. I think that actually would be a pretty fun rig, because with an all-wheel drive car you could put a lot more power down and it would handle it better. So as I mentioned, I do have COVID. I'm about I don't know, 5-6 days into having COVID, and I had to take a couple days off of work this week, unfortunately. So I laid low and slept quite a bit, and I'm better, but I still have a little bit of stuff in my chest. And it's really because I am still sick. I can't really be around people. So, I can't have people over or go help them or go hang out or do anything. So this is kind of what I'm doing. But I still don't have a heck of a lot of energy. So I'm just kind of going slow today, doing what I can. All right, well, we're gonna try a slightly different way to dry this car off. There's a sort of like a lip on the roof here, and honestly it holds a lot of water, so it takes forever to dry it all out. So we're gonna try the old leaf blower today. It's actually pretty amazing how well that worked. All right, guys, so the Mini's clean and it's up next. So my problem with this Mini is that it has really bad what's called bump steer. What that means is that when the suspension moves up and down as you're driving, or you're on and off the power, the arm that connects the steering rack to the spindle on the back, which you can't see the wheels in the way, it's lengthening and shortening because its track, I guess for lack of better words, is in parallel with the A-arms. So I didn't realize that was the problem. I actually thought that I had really bad torque steer the whole time, which is a different thing altogether, until I had this car on the dyno the last time. So when I had it on the dyno the last time, as the car lifted, we could see the wheels turn in quite a bit. And what that means is that the wheels are actually dragging down the road, not in a straight way. And you can see, I think you can see, there's little bits of black dust, but when we were on the dyno, we covered like the side of the car with like bits of tires. So not good. It makes a really loud sound as well, and it makes the car kind of dance around the road. It's rather unsafe. So I haven't really been driving the car that much, and I'm really glad that we did put it on the dyno this year. So I figured that out. I ordered what I hope is the solution. These are an adjustable track rod. So these go on the end of the steering rack, and they're actually adjustable. They're a nice unit. So, oh, of course, I grabbed the one there we go. So they can lengthen. So essentially, you can adjust these in length without taking it totally off the car, which is a really nice feature. Also, there's bushings that can go on either side of this bolt so that you can move this up and down as you need to level things out and eliminate the bump steer that I mentioned. So that's what we're up to today. In order to do these, I had to take the wheel off. I have to take take a measurement as to how long the current settings are for the tie rod end, just so we can try to get them in the same ballpark for now. And I'll take the old one off. We have to take the spindle. It has a tapered fitting because it's using a regular ball joint sort of setup that would be on the end of most tie rods. And so we had to remove that taper, drilling the hole out to a 1/2 inch, which is the size of that bolt. And then we'll put these back on. So with any luck, I have drill bits that'll go through all that, and we'll get through this pretty quickly. All right, one little mini tire off, get out of the way. Try to make my life a little easier there and turn that out as much as I can. Right, so the next thing we want to do is probably just pop that tie rod right out of there. Did spin the nut back on there. There we go. So basically I just spun the nut back on the tie rod just a little bit so I didn't have to be bashing on the threads with the hammer there, and I just hit the top of the nut. So that kind of popped it out, and here we go. Think up it goes. So this is what we're going to remove. Hopefully you can see that there. And I got some heat because, well, I know better. This car doesn't see any salt, but still a steel piece there, and it'd still probably work better if I heat it. I'm not trying to make it glow red hot. Just you go. Got it like that. So there's the old one. Much different. Ooh, that's hot. All right, I got a bunch of different things here. It's just some tap fluid to lubricate my drill bit. I'm going to use a stepper bit first. So my stepper bit here maxes out a 1/2 inch, which is kind of the max size that I'm supposed to drill it to. But I also have a bunch of regular drill bits. I have no faith that the stepper bit is sharp enough to finish the job, but it might get it started. And then I have a set of drill bits that go up to 1/2 inch if I need to. I have 4 different sizes there. So see what happens with the stepper bit. Typically these spindles are usually hardened steel, so I've had to drill these out before, not on this car, but on other cars, and it's been a pain. So see what happens. Wow. Okay, so I think I got in a little bit of luck there. I almost finished it with the stepper bit. Oh yeah, sweet. I think we can just run the 1/2 inch drill bit right through it, and that'll be it. Call that lucky. Like that. Let's check the fit. So if you look at these things, basically we have a big nut with a nylock washer, a spacer that you can put on whatever side you need to, a rubber sort of gasket, I'll call that like a grease control gasket, a heim joint, another grease gasket, a washer, and then the head of the bolt. So basically these heim joints, kind of want to grease them. Don't put them in dry, but they'll last for a pretty long time. So next thing I'm going to do is put some anti-seize on all that stuff. All right. The idea here is just to put a protective coating on things so the rust can't sit in, but also so that the part moves freely. The threads don't gall and get all messed up or whatever when you're trying to torque everything down or use them. So just a little lubrication. A little lube goes a long way. Okay, so we got that done. I'm just going to give it a little wipe off on the outside. Try to keep my hands somewhat clean, I guess. And then we'll go ahead and put this on the steering rack end. All right, so we'll go ahead and tighten this up. Got a 3/8 Allen socket on the bottom. Yeah, and a 19 because it's a mini, and they're metric. Hey, there we go. So I have room for at least one more 1/4 inch spacer on the bottom if I need to. After I get all this set up, what I'll probably do a different day is I'm going to take the shock off, and I'm going to take the arm and I'm going to move it up and down through its travel. And what I want to see is that this steering arm stays perpendicular to the horizontal plane of the bottom and upper control arm as much as possible. And the goal is that as I lift it up and down, that this isn't moving back and forth, which it was before. So I may need to adjust the spacers either top or bottom. Either or will sort out what's what. Go from there. So that's that side done. I'll put the wheel back on, and I'll repeat on the other side.
All right, folks, we're going to wrap the video here for the week. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this episode of Bad Gas Productions, please share it with your friends and family. By all means, throw some comments below for us to read, and give us the big thumbs up. Peace.